Hello YouTube. Today we'll be changing the oil, the engine oil on a GSXR-600 SRAD. So the first thing you want to do, and I already did to save time, was to put the bike on a rear paddock stand to help keep the bike upright especially during the draining process. And also we'll be later needing it to accurately measure the level of the oil. We'll be covering that in detail. So once we've done that, the second thing you want to do is take off the right hand side fairing of the motorbike, for which you're going to need an Allen key or hex set. So 4mm hex in this case. Yep, so let's go ahead and take this off. Just loosening off, breaking them loose. They aren't supposed to be that tight anyway, so we're ready to go. Okay, so we're just taking out all the bolts. Just make sure you've taken out all the bolts that are clipping this particular fairing to the rest of the fairings in the body. You don't want to damage your fairing in the process of jiggling it off. So once you've done that, just carefully take your time, gently just wiggle it. Easy. And in my case, for obviously GSXR-600, the indicator, as you can see, so there's the cable connecting the indicator. So you just want to unclip that like so, and we have the fairing off the motorbike. And you want to store the fairing somewhere safe. I'm just going to put it here. I'm not touching the ground. So once this boring part is done, you want to go ahead and warm up the engine to make the fluid more slightly less viscous, so it flows when we drain the fluid. So let's go ahead and start the bike and let it warm up. While you're doing this, worth opening the garage door so that you don't inhale all sorts of dangerous gases such as CO. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so the bike is now all warmed up. I turned it off. Garage door is all closed now. So we're going to go and crack the sump plug nut. And for that we need, for the SRAD, it is a 21mm socket. I'm not particularly strong, so I'm just going to use a breaker bar, even though I did not tighten it up too bad last time I did. There we go. So it's cracked now. So I'm just gonna, and also this is an important thing, you need a container to collect all the waste oil. I got this from Halfords, 3 or 4 pounds, 6 litres. Will serve you 2 oil changes. That's pretty good enough, good capacity here. I'm just gonna place it underneath the sump. Open up the hole. I open up this, the drain hole, and the breather. And I'm just gonna start loosening up the plug. The oil is gonna be hot, so just have to be careful. I don't have a pair of gloves, unfortunately. You'll have to do with this kind of dodgy technique. Okay, so got the sump plug out. Good thing about this particular catch tank, it's got a small drain hole and a big surface area to catch your sump plug if you drop it. You shouldn't drop it normally, but since I didn't have the gloves, I had to let it go. But we'll be inspecting it in a bit. Right now it's at the point of overflow, so I don't want to disturb that. I'm just going to let it drain and catch in the tank. And it's pretty much done, so I'm just going to quickly go and collect the sump plug. Okay, so the thing is, there's no residue on the sump plug magnet, which means the engine is pretty healthy, and so on my piston rings and all the other engine components. Anything, engine is free of damage basically, all in all. I'm not an expert, so this is a good thing. So I'm just gonna wait for all the engine oil to just trickle down into the tank. Quickly wipe my hands. Should wear gloves, I just don't have one. And also we need to tackle the oil filter, and for that I don't have a K&N filter with the fancy top. I do have, however, a cheap fancy tool which I got for cheap from one of the local auto parts store. Farringdon Auto Parts, that's the place, that's the name of the shop where I got it from. Farringdon is a small town in Oxfordshire. But anyway, don't want to drift off the topic. Basically this is the tool. You have a chain to give you traction on the traction of purchase on the smooth body of the filter, and you just basically loop it in like so, get a rough estimate of the circumference of your filter and lock it in these grooves or teeth, just like a sprocket, a chain and sprocket setup. I'm just going to quickly go ahead. Actually, I might do. Which one is it? 10 mil. It's not 10 mil. Should be at 12 mil then. Quickly just going to loosen up this bolt. There we go. Now that's loose. Just gonna quickly lube this around the filter. Also, slightly adjust the position of the catch tank or the drain tank so that all the oil from the filter will just directly go into the catch tank. The wrong way, I think. There we go. Very easy. This was a couple of quid, nothing expensive. Looks fancy, but nothing's expensive. Just going to loosen this off. Obviously the oil will trickle on the exhaust, which we'll need to clean later on. Just want to be careful as we, yeah, it's already going into the catch tank. I'm positioning my catch tank while I'm loosening this off. Don't want anything to leak on the garage floor and later go on my tires, which of course would lead to a certain catastrophe. There we go, hope you can see. There's the filter. Just to quickly show, so this is your filter. You take this, you lube this like I showed before, and this is your filter. You just loop it around like so. You go on a curvature here, as you can see, and just what's it called? Fulcrum. You just fulcrum. You have your fulcrum or leverage this onto this tip of this device, and you turn it like so. So that's done. We still got oil trickling. Quickly show you. So we still got the oil trickling into the catch tank. Luckily there's nothing on the floor, which is good because all precautions are taken. And we're just gonna let the oil drip into the tank. I'm gonna quickly go and have my lunch, have a cup of tea and come back. So I'll catch you in a bit. Okay, so we're back. Now it's time to clean up the oil and put everything back together. We're going to put the sump plug back in. We're going to install the new filter, and last but not the least, fill up the bike with the oil. Let's get cracking. So first of all, we'll clean it up. We've got the oil and the exhaust. We're going to clean up first, or else we're going to have a lot of smoking going on when the bike is switched on and heats up. So we're going to clean all that. Now then, first I'm going to use just some soapy water, and after that I will, just to give a finishing touch, I'll use a chain cleaner. This is expensive. This is cheap. Hence, first I'm going to do the major cleanup with this. I run out of proper paper roll for my garage, and so I have to use this. Now the final cleanup, a bit of brake here. final wipe. I'm just trying to be thorough. Right. Now with the cleaning done, we're gonna install the new filter. For SRAD it's HF138. So let's open this up. Just remove the plastic packaging. The filter already has some lubrication on the seal, just to make sure the seal doesn't go dry and chapped. But I'm still going to apply some fresh oil on the seal, because that's something I always do, always have done. This is some oil that I spare oil that I keep in my garage, so I'm just gonna use that. So just generous coating on this area will help give the filter a good seal, also keep the rubber moist, and would obviously keep the seal perfect. So now we're gonna just crack open this new bottle. Came as a kit off eBay, M&P. You just open this like so, and there's an inbuilt nozzle or outlet that you can use for spill free or funnel free filling, and you just break the seal by pulling on it. Put this aside, don't want to make a mess here. Hope you can see. That's off. Now just put the cap back on, and pull, and you have the funnel, as you can see, which you can use to fill up. So first things first, we want to install the filter first, and for that, first of all we need to put the sun plug back in. Quick wipe on the sun plug, bit of oil, around the thread. Could use copper slip, but I'm not sure. I've never done it, so I'll just use some of this oil and then go ahead and install it. So let's do it. Make sure you take your time, you don't cross thread anything. So it's silky smooth right now. It goes in silky smooth, which means no cross threading. And as for tightening up, you don't have to be brutal at all. So adjust your ratchet drive, and once it seats itself, I just hope you can see. That's it. That's it. Not too much. If it starts to leak, if you see any leak, you can of course go back and tighten it up. You should check for leakages and stuff as part of pre-ride checks. So any leakages from this point on would be noticed during your checks, and if you do notice it, you can tighten it up further. But this should do it. Doesn't have to be too tight. Just use the drive. That's it. That's it. You'll get a feel for it. You don't want to damage anything. Now, for the installation of your filter, you basically wanna fill up your filter a tiny bit. Half fill it. Basically you do this so that when you fill it up, you get an accurate level here. If you don't fill this up and you start, after filling up, you start your motorbike, you start the bike, you start the engine, and you shut it down, you'll see the level go down, because the filter will obviously have some residual volume of oil in it all the time. And if you don't fill it up at this point, it will fill itself up after you fill up the engine, and as such you'll have to refill it, which is just a bit inconvenient. So it's better to fill it up tightly, slightly at this point. That will save you time later on, and you just go ahead and install the filter. Screw it in. Doesn't have to be tight. Once you seat it, you just hand tight it. I'll just hand tight it. You'll get a feel for it. Let me just wipe my hand, slip in. That's it. It doesn't want to go any further. You'll get a feel for it, like I said. But of course, you could go ahead and look in the service manual This is the fourth time I'm doing this service myself, and so far I've followed the same exact procedure what I did today and haven't had any problems, so you shouldn't have any problem either. Anyway, let's go ahead and there's a retainer clip, so I'm going to tighten that up again against the filter. 12 mil, is it 12 mil? Yeah, 12 mil spanner. Doesn't have to be tight. That's it. And job done. Now before I fill it up back again, I'm just going to clean up the top of the tank. As you can see, it's full of oil. Just clean it up nicely. Make the tissues absorb everything. Close the breather hole, close the drain hole. Just be meticulous with everything. For the time being, I'm just going to put my own filter on here, on top of here. Store this on one side of the garage. I'll go store it in this corner of my garage. It goes here again, away from everything, away from the tires, away from everything it should stay away from. Quickly just give it a good clean, wipe off any remaining oil marks from your hands. You're going to wipe off any oil around the sump, just so that you can spot any leaks later on when you have started to fill the bike up and start it up. So now we're just going to fill up the bike with oil. Quantity is already written here, 2.6 liters or 2600 milliliters. So all you have to do really is just, there's a marking on the canister, and right now it's at just over, what is it, just over 4 liters, 4.5 liters. So we're going to fill it up. So roughly we need 2 liters, 2.6. So we have to go about 1.4, which is around about here. So this point here. Let's fill it up. This powder is really helpful. Very effective in what it's supposed to do. Actually, this is interfering, so I'm going to move it somewhere else. It's going to stay here. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I might be following the lighting. Let's move it here. Hope you can still see. Just maintain a smooth flow. Keep a track of how much has been filled in. We've got a long way to go. And also there's a marker here, see through. Keep an eye on that as well. If you don't trust this, or you have, unsure about your measurements, visual measurements. Right then, so as we can see, the level is between full and low, which is bang on. We'll be running the bike for a bit and then check the level again, because obviously the filter wasn't filled to the top, and that's gonna fill it up slightly, and the level is going to go down just a tiny bit, and because of that we'll have to but anyway, apart from the visual measurement, I had mentioned this visual measurement. I had mentioned the visual measurement that you can do from the canister itself. This is a 4-litre bottle. It had just over 4 litres of oil, and this requires 2600 milliliters or 2.6 litres of oil, which leaves us with 1.4 litres of oil in the canister. And as you can see right now, it's just touching 1.5 litres, which suggests the bike is obviously going to need just a tiny bit, couple of hundred more mLs of oil once it's been run. But right now we're done, so we're just gonna put everything back together, put the fairing back, put everything back, put this cap back on, obviously, and we're going to run the bike and fill it up, top it up as per the requirement. So the fairing, we're going to put the fairing back now. And for that, once again, you just wiggle the fairing into place. Obviously, not literally wiggle it. Obviously, make sure all the tabs are connected and the holes match. You're going to connect your indicator electrical connector back. Don't want to forget that, else you won't have the front indicator working, which is not good. You might want to check it. There you go, so it's working. Okay. This is time consuming and annoying. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Take your time, no need to hurry. I won't hurry at all. Right, so now that the fairing is into its place, we're going to put the fasteners back into place. At this point, I just want to clean all my fasteners. On the way out, I checked they were a bit dirty and filthy, grimy, so I'm going to clean them up really quickly. Apply some copper slip. Doesn't have to be copper slip because they aren't tied, so just regular grease. I'll show you in a minute. Regular grease will do, which is cheap. Copper slip can be expensive. I know it's expensive. Expensive for me at least. Quick clean. I'm just using the solvent, rust in peace. Don't want to waste my brake cleaner. This is a good substitute. Clean it up. Just a really quick. Oh God. Just quick cleaning. get some grease. Where I put it? Where did I put the grease? Where's the grease? There it is. Here it is. So just a regular multi-purpose grease. Costed me £3.49. I'm pretty sure it was on sale or something. And I got it from Farringdon Motor Parts when I used to live in Farringdon. Look, still have loads. I bought this about 3 years ago. Just a quick dip. You don't want a lot. Just about that much would do. Don't have to tighten the fasteners up at this point, because you want to locate all of them in the center, and then you want to tighten them. Don't want to damage anything here. Right then, as you can see, the fairing has been put back together nice and solid. It's all looking clean. I'm gonna run the bike and check the level and top it up. That's not crucial. You can do it by yourself. This is my first YouTube video. If you like it, subscribe, click like. If you find any of the mistakes, as an immature, inexperienced YouTuber or vlogger, whatever you want to call it, let me know. I'll try to improve. Obviously, I don't have an action cam or portable small high definition camera with me at the moment, hence I wasn't able to have close-up views of the different parts of the bike I was working on. So forgive me for that. Really apologize for that. I'd improve over time. If you like my video, if you like my style of explaining, I would like to mention, of course, I'm quite inexperienced myself. I learn as you are learning, and I would like to pass on my experience as I learn to fellow inexperienced riders who want to work on their bikes, especially the GSXR-600 SRAD. There aren't many videos on the SRAD on YouTube, so I hope I'm able to contribute significantly to the community. Thank you very much, and please let me know what kind of improvements, how I can improve on my video. It's summertime, so you can expect more videos, such as replacement of the brake oil front and rear. There's also a major thing that I need to do on the rear brake, which is to change the line. I won't be doing a braided line just yet because I don't have the money, but I have a spare one lying around, which I know for a fact is in working condition, doesn't swell up anything, it's perfect working condition. But this one, I can feel the pipe is expanding way too much, so I think it's short and there's brake fade. So I need to replace that, obviously change the oil. So that's the next video coming up. So please let me know what improvements are required in terms of the camera work, etc., or the explanation. Thank you very much, and enjoy the video. I really hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much. Take care, ride safe.